So the final session that I'm going to run with you today, so hopefully then you have all of the information that you need to get you started on your senior journey and understanding set planning, is in relation to what can I actually do and undertake whilst I'm at Aspley State High School to tick that QCE box and also to get you on your ATAR or non-ATAR pathway. So that's what the session about is today. So quickly, in relation to QCE and your subjects, remember that you are choosing 6 subjects to complete over year 11 and 12. As part of the set planning process, you choose those 6 subjects, but we also ask you to choose 2 backup subjects. The backup subjects are there in case there is a bit of a timetable clash when the timetable is generated for you next year. So if there are 2 subjects that you've chosen that obviously sit on the same line, we might just have to have a talk to you about which other subject you're happy to do. So we like to do that nice and early so that we have an idea of all of the subject combination that you're interested in doing in year 11 and 12. So when you complete a survey shortly, and then when you come to your set planning interview with your parent or guardian, you will have chosen 6 subjects and then 2 backups that you're happy to do in the event that there is a bit of a clash. In picking those subjects, you need to remember the information that I gave you, particularly last week, if you are looking to be ATAR eligible. So if you're going for an ATAR, you need to really be choosing 6 from the general bucket that I'm going to show you in a minute. If you are looking at non-ATAR, then you do have pretty much the whole smorgasbord of subjects to be able to choose from. However, you are most likely to be choosing more of the applied essential pathway subjects, and I'll show you what they look like in a moment as well. If you are in the ATAR pathway, you are choosing your general subjects, but remember, some of the activities that you are doing in your pastoral care lessons is also for you to investigate any university courses that you might be interested in doing, so that if there are any prerequisite subjects that you need to have, that you're also including them in your 6. So remember I gave an example of particularly for your science types pathways, they might look for you to have science, a particular science. Sometimes there is a particular mathematics subject. The most common prerequisite that you will find for university courses, regardless of the university, will be English. Okay? English or sometimes and/or literature. So in a moment when I show you the subjects, you should be thinking about, am I ATAR, am I non-ATAR? Do I know if there are any prerequisites that I need to be choosing? And if not, start investigating those in your pastoral care lessons with the universities that you might be considering enrolling at when you finish. What will also happen is, in the coming weeks, your English and mathematics teachers will be sending an email home that has a recommendation of the level of mathematics and English that you should be enrolling in for year 11 and 12. It is standard practice that we pretty much lock you into those English and mathematics subjects. The only time that there's really an exception to that is if you really knuckle down in semester 2 and demonstrate that you are capable and you're willing to put in the work and effort to be in that higher level of English and mathematics if you're not recommended for it at this stage. So that's another thing you need to factor into your subject selections. Okay, more information will come home in the coming weeks in relation to that. So here are the subjects that are on offer at Aspley that sit in the general subject area. Here are some common questions that I get in relation to general subjects. Can I do English and literature? Yes, you can. In relation to mathematics, if you are looking at doing specialist, you must do math methods as well. So when you're thinking about your 6 subject combinations, you have to have an English, you have to have a maths that should align with your recommendation. However, if you're doing specialist maths, then you will have methods and specialist. So there's 2 subjects already for you. So 2 maths and then an English means you've only got 3 then other electives, if that is your scenario. Okay, but yes, you can do English and literature, and then you must do methods with specialist. Here are your applied option subjects. Remember, there is also essential mathematics and essential English that will sit in there. So if you're looking at doing those two essential, then it's 4 other electives that you will be choosing. And as I said earlier, if you are non-ATAR, you will largely choose subjects from this applied suite after your essential maths and essential English. However, there is a possibility that you can do a general subject or 2, depending obviously on what those are. So for example, if you are a music student now and you really love your music, but then you're not looking to go for an ATAR, then it obviously would be acceptable for you to do general music perhaps, and then the rest of your subjects applied essential. Okay, so that's a common scenario that music students might have, for example. Here are some particular things you also need to keep at the forefront of your mind, particularly if you are non-ATAR. Applications for TAFE for next year enrolments open on the 18th of July this year, so just after the school holidays. So if you are considering doing a TAFE course next year, you need to put a reminder in for the 18th of July at 9 a.m. to jump on and enrol for those TAFE at Schools courses. Jump on and enrol straight away because some of those courses fill very, very quickly. For example, Cert 2 Electrotechnology, Cert 2 Automotive have been courses in the past that really fill within the first day or 2 of those applications being open. So if you are thinking about a TAFE course for next year, enrol on the 18th. If you then change your mind or consider a different pathway before next year, you can always cancel that enrolment and I can let TAFE know to withdraw your name. But if you are umming and ahhing and then you think about it too long, you might miss out. Okay, so be mindful of that date. Once you have enrolled for TAFE and you've sent away your application, you then need to still come and see me to have an individual conversation. Because TAFE applications open on the 18th of July, however your set planning interviews will not happen for another couple of weeks. Once you apply for TAFE, I then need to hit an approve button to say, yes, I've spoken with you, yes, this aligns with your pathway, and the school is going to support you undertaking that course 1 day a week at TAFE. So you apply, and then you come and see me in the senior hub to have a face-to-face conversation, and then I will hit the approve button for you, and then that will sit there for TAFE to process. Okay, so remember that step in the process as well. Even if you do a TAFE course, you still need to choose your 6 subjects and 2 backup subjects for your pathway. The other most common question that I have is, can I be on a study line on my timetable? The answer is yes, you can, but not straight away. So you still need to go through the complete set planning process, even if you know that you are doing TAFE or another external course or an apprenticeship or a traineeship 1 day a week, and you can drop to 5 subjects. Here's why. TAFE doesn't start until a couple of weeks into the term, normally, next year, first term. If you go to the course for 2 or 3 weeks and decide, not for me, you can't be that 4, 5, 6 weeks behind in a subject that you need to stay in on your timetable for that 6 subjects. So you need to be in 6, and then when you go to TAFE or the other course for a few weeks and you're loving it and you're committing to completing it, then we have an individual conversation about you perhaps being able to move to a study line. Because you're making up those QCE points in that other course, remember from my QCE talk a couple of weeks ago. Okay, but that's a conversation that doesn't really happen until that sort of that midterm one next year. Okay. There are lots of other external providers, traineeship, apprenticeship opportunities that also come up for school-based students where you can do that 1 day a week. Where do you find that information? On your emails. So whenever there is an opportunity that gets sent to us that's worth sharing with all of you, that will come from myself, Mr. Harding, or Mrs. Hassam normally. So I cannot stress enough about you regularly checking your emails. And there are opportunities coming out now for students to sign up for year 11 and 12. So if you're sitting in here thinking that's me, then you need to especially be checking those emails for opportunities at this point in time. Here is where you find out more information. In your pastoral care, if you haven't yet, you will be accessing the subject guide so that you can actually be reading some more information about all of those subjects. So you're making sure that it actually aligns with what you want to do and what you're interested in. The QCAA website has lots and lots of extra information as well about subjects, including the types of assessment that gets done, any other questions you might have. Don't forget, if you're going for an ATAR university, checking the prerequisites to make sure you tick any of those boxes and checking your TAFEs regularly for TAFE and opportunities. So you now know QCE. What does that mean? What do I need to do to achieve it? You should know what an ATAR is. Is that likely to be me, and what do I need it for? And if not, I'm non-ATAR. And you now have a very general overview of the types of subjects and opportunities that are on offer here at Aspley. So your job when you go away now to your pastoral care lessons and in the coming weeks is to read this information in more detail so you have a complete understanding of what it looks like for you as an individual. And then completing the survey and then setting up set planning interviews with parents, which will happen next term.